Deep in the vastness of space, an object defies every rule of astrophysics. A planet that simply shouldn't exist. Step by step, we'll piece together the timeline of this impossible discovery, and we'll explore how a single anomaly can overturn decades of scientific work. This story doesn't begin with grand theories from silver-haired professors. It starts with one sleepless night and a tiny speck on a computer screen. December 4th, 2013. The Atacama Desert in Chile. The dry, icy air burns the lungs as a 6-meter telescope looms overhead, slowly rotating to track Earth's spin. Graduate student Vanessa Bailey peers into data from the Southern Cross constellation. Her target? A young star system called HD 106906, 300 light-years away. To put that in perspective, the light from this star began its journey when the Age of Enlightenment was just dawning on our planet. Vanessa is hunting for ordinary exoplanets, but instead she stumbles onto something entirely unexpected. Through a powerful telescope, a typical planet appears as a tiny, razor-sharp point of light. Computer algorithms quickly filter out noise, leaving a clear pixel against the vast emptiness of space. But on Vanessa's monitor, there's no pinpoint. Instead, a strange, ghostly haze appears. A blurry, pulsating glow spreads around the star like a thick veil. At first, confusion takes hold. Then comes shock, as a closer look at the spectrum reveals the eerie glow isn't an optical glitch or a cloud of cosmic dust. A mysterious halo conceals a monster of colossal size. This haze is just a heat signature from an object whose true nature will force astronomers to rewrite their textbooks on planetary science. Its glow comes from a mass that surpasses all known limits for ordinary gas giants. But what lies inside this ghostly cocoon? And why does its extraordinary temperature turn this discovery into the most haunting mystery in modern astronomy? Hidden behind a blurred veil lies HD 106906b, a gas supergiant so immense it shatters our usual sense of scale. This discovery stopped researchers cold in front of their screens, making them grasp the true magnitude of this cosmic titan. Its size is so staggering that it teeters on the razor-thin edge between being a fully formed world and a faint brown dwarf star. Here, gravity plays by an entirely different set of survival rules. Jupiter feels like the absolute ruler, able to swallow 1,300 Earths with ease. But this new giant outweighs our striped neighbor by exactly 11 times. Now gather every element of our solar system. Dump Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune into one gravitational whirlpool. Toss in rocky planets like Earth and Mars. That dense mass would still need to grow 5 times larger just to come close to matching the mass of this single giant. An immense internal weight crushes the planet's core with monstrous force, sparking a hellish inferno right beneath the surface. Temperatures soar to 1,500 degrees Celsius. That's far hotter than the molten lava spewing from the most active volcanoes on Earth. In this merciless furnace, steel melts instantly, and strong alloys flow like water. The atmosphere roils with relentless storms, slicing through the pitch-black void with flashes of crimson heat. This extreme heat brilliantly solves the original mystery of the very first image. That hazy aura, which baffled astronomers for so long, turned out to be the star's own infrared glow coming from a blazing gas sphere. The supergiant burns fiercely in the darkness, pouring out the leftover heat from its violent birth. This massive cloud of matter cools over tens of millions of years, and right now our instruments catch its vivid heat signature against the backdrop of near absolute zero. The internal features of this fiery world are alarming, but the real scientific paradox lies in its location. This supergiant drifts so far from its blazing star that there simply isn't enough material to form even a modest asteroid. Traditional theories about gradual formation at such distances crumble to dust. Meanwhile, the popular idea that it suddenly migrated to the outskirts of the system clashes with the laws of orbital mechanics. If this giant couldn't have formed there, and couldn't have moved there, then what unknown force hurled it into this vast emptiness? 650 astronomical units. That's how far this fiery globe froze in place from its home star. For decades, astrophysicists crafted elegant mathematical models of planet formation, but a single coordinate shattered them all, turning those theories into little more than useless paper. Scientists refused to trust the instruments at first, double-checking the data again and again. This gas giant appeared in a zone of utter emptiness, where, by every law of physics, frozen silence reigns and only rare drifting ice chunks exist. Every planet begins with a dense disk of dust and gas swirling around a young star. Particles collide and stick together, slowly building the mass of a future celestial body. But right here, where this giant now resides, there wasn't enough building material to form even a tiny asteroid. The distance stretches 22 times farther than the space between the Sun and Neptune, well beyond the physical limits of any known protoplanetary cloud. The rescue theory of migration, this idea that the giant formed close to the center and was then violently flung outward, fell apart instantly. A massive object moving that fast would leave a huge gap in the surrounding material. Yet infrared sensors captured a perfectly intact gas and dust disk without a single trace or scar. The best way to grasp this abyss is through a direct comparison. Imagine if our moon suddenly left its familiar orbit around Earth and started circling somewhere halfway to Mars. Light from the sun would take hours to reach this world, turning the star in its black sky into a faint, barely visible dot. At such a staggering distance, the gravitational pull becomes incredibly fragile, almost illusory. Scientists faced a dead end. This object couldn't have formed in this frozen wasteland, and it definitely didn't carve its way through the dense inner layers of the system. The only path forward was clear. Study the trajectory of this impossible wanderer in detail. The answer must lie in the shape of its invisible path through the darkness. What strange orbital dance could explain the existence of a giant where it simply shouldn't be? This gas giant's path shatters all the usual patterns. Typical orbits in our solar system look like neat circles, almost as if drawn by a giant invisible compass. But this wanderer carves out an extreme, elongated ellipse through space, something completely unlike any planet's. It takes a staggering 14,000 Earth years to complete a single orbit around the central star. In that immense stretch of time, entire human civilizations rise, flourish, and turn to dust, while it barely passes one local year for the planet itself. This pattern of motion is typical for completely different cosmic bodies. Ice comets dive swiftly toward the warmth of their parent star, only to vanish into the darkness of deep space for long stretches. A gas giant, however, has no right to move this way. Its massive weight should have long smoothed its path, rounding corners and turning its flight into a predictable, circular orbit. Yet this enormous sphere keeps performing a wild, elongated dance, brazenly defying the fundamental laws of celestial mechanics. Faced with a complete paradox, astrophysicists scrambled through alternative explanations. Their first idea, this isn't a planet at all, but a second star, part of a binary system. That theory collapsed instantly. The object was too small to trigger nuclear fusion. Next, they tried to classify it as a brown dwarf, a dim substellar body. But the math was ruthless. To qualify as a brown dwarf, it needs to weigh at least 13 times Jupiter's mass. Our giant stopped short at 11. One by one, all the obvious answers fell apart. Old textbooks couldn't explain this stretched ellipse. Suddenly, scientists faced an urgent need for a new physics, one that could reveal how a massive world could emerge from the void. As theorists rushed to build a groundbreaking model of gravitational instability, science fiction fans pushed the boundaries even further. They campaigned to officially name this planet the home of Doctor Who. What bold scientific idea forced researchers to rewrite the rules of world formation? And why did the attempt to name this anomaly Gallifrey end in an unexpected rejection? The breakthrough for theorists came from virtual reality. Supercomputers loaded with terabytes of data on cosmic dust behavior revealed an unexpected scenario, a hypothesis of gravitational instability. This model doesn't offer absolute certainty, but it cracks open a wall of total confusion. For a long time, scientists believed worlds formed slowly, pulling in matter grain by grain. Yet, digital simulations unveiled a radically different path, unfolding in the cold outskirts of star empires. Far from the center, a dust cloud behaves differently. A massive chunk of the nebula can collapse inward under its own gravity almost instantly, like a drop of morning dew suddenly forming on a cold window from humid air. Instead of taking millions of years, this colossal gas sphere comes to life in just 1,000 years. This rapid collapse perfectly explains how such a massive object appeared in empty space without leaving any signs of destruction in the disk. While physicists eagerly clung to this lifeline, word of the impossible anomaly broke free from the labs. Fans of the sci-fi series Doctor Who instantly recognized the Wanderer as the home of their hero. Thousands of devoted followers came together, launching an official petition to permanently name the mysterious sphere Gallifrey. The idea felt perfect. A rebel defying the laws of space deserved a name like that, but the strict academic machine quickly cooled that enthusiasm. The International Astronomical Union firmly rejected the fan initiative. Their reason was clear. The scientific status of the discovered giant remained too uncertain. Scientists refused to assign a grand name to a body teetering on the edge between a massive gas world and a failed star. Bureaucrats chose to keep a dry alphanumeric code, hiding the greatest mystery behind it. Studying this distant system suddenly stopped feeling like just a curiosity. Its alien star system mirrors the early stages of our own solar system with striking accuracy. This gives strong support to those who believe in the hidden ninth planet. If such massive wandering worlds can form unnoticed on the outskirts, what happens when an invisible gravitational giant decides to invade our cozy corner of the galaxy and hurl Earth into icy darkness? 13 million years. A mere blink for the universe. At this infant stage, the star nursery HD 106906 has frozen in time. When scientists peer at it through telescope lenses, they look into a mirror of the past. This is an exact replica of humanity's original home, right at the dawn of its birth. Earth once looked just like this: raging chaos, molten rocks, and a swarm of debris. And somewhere out there, at an unimaginable distance from the central heat, an invisible gravitational dictator is taking shape. This unsettling parallel forces us to rethink the boundaries of our own backyard. Far beyond Pluto's orbit, in the pitch-black depths of the Oort cloud, something similar might be hiding. A hypothetical planet X, an elusive giant, with a mass tens of times that of Earth. For years, mathematical models have revealed strange distortions in the paths of distant asteroids. An invisible force pulls them in one direction. For a long time, scientists doubted massive bodies could exist so far out. Then, a discovery in the Southern Cross constellation shattered those doubts. Wandering giants are real, and one of them could be silently patrolling the distant edges of our solar family right now. The arrival of such a wanderer leaves no hope for survival. There's no need for a direct collision. It's enough for this massive outcast to simply pass through the inner zone. Its monstrous gravity will act like an invisible slingshot. The gravitational shock will wrench Earth from its familiar orbit. Our blue planet will be flung into the empty void between stars at breakneck speed. Daylight will fade rapidly. The oceans will freeze solid to the very bottom in just a few months. The atmosphere will collapse onto the surface as a thick white snow. What was once a thriving oasis will become a lifeless chunk of rock, doomed to drift forever in utter darkness. Hunting for anomalies in the deep vacuum no longer belongs to abstract theorizing. Every glitch in the laws of physics, every strange thermal trace on observatory screens, these are vital signals. People have long seen their cozy corner as a fortress, guarded by predictable rules. But the abyss offers no guarantees. Fundamental science remains our only tool to spot danger before it arrives. Understanding how dark titans are born gives us a tiny chance to peer beyond the event horizon. Space is magnificent in its mercilessness, and humanity is a fragile passenger aboard a ship whose course can shift at any moment.